Hi guys, it's Bosa. Welcome back to the channel. So for today's video, we're going to just jump straight into the video. I'll take you guys with me on this trip that I recently went to at Kibale National Park. Now this is one of those trips where you have to hit the road. I believe it's about 5 to 6 hours give or take from Kampala. There's no other option, you just have to go by road. So we stopped at this place in Fort Portal called Garden Restaurant. They had the most amazing food and tea. I'm not a tea person, so when I hype tea, believe me, good sis. So it's no surprise here that you'll run into a number of primates. This forest is predominantly known to have a couple of monkeys, baboons, and large troops of chimpanzees. So they advise you not to feed the monkeys, not to feed the animals actually at all, not just the monkeys. So we didn't feed them because we're good people. I understand why people would want to feed them. It's quite entertaining, I believe. As a child, I always went to Tororo on trips with my mom for work, and I liked the baboons, some fruit. Now these species are endangered. People tend to poison them for all sorts of reasons, so UWEC advises that you don't feed them. Now this was the next day, very early in the morning. We got up and had our morning wake-up call. I will leave a video in the eye above where you can find out all about our accommodation. I believe by this time it was about 7 a.m. and I was getting ready to have my second breakfast, or my breakfast if you might, and then hit the road. So currently UWEC is having this thing where East Africans and Ugandans get 50% off if they visit national parks between now and March. I believe it has been running since December. So if you're interested, take it up, save some coins. So we went to the offices and were offered our guide. Are they called guides? I think it's more than just a guide. She was a very kind person. She was very helpful. She was very friendly. So we drove with her to the forest. Now you do get to drive to some point and then you start to walk. The trees here are quite high, so she talked to us and briefed us on what to expect, and then they divided us into groups of 5 to 6. We spent a lot of time walking. I believe we walked for maybe an hour or so before we ran into anything entertaining. This is a rainforest, so the trees are very high, they're very beautiful. It's kind of strange, but also because it's a rainforest, they told us to expect that it would rain at any one point. Gladly, it did not. The forest definitely has primates, mostly, but it does have some mammals like forest elephants that we were told are quite wild, and we didn't run into any of them. So after walking for about an hour or so, we met a troop of chimpanzees that were high in the trees. We could hardly see them, but we could see some movements, and we just kept on waiting for them to come down. We got bored. We took some boomerangs, we took some pictures, we sat at the back of trees, we stood, our feet were hurting. And then after about an hour or so, the alpha male decided to come down and grace us with his presence. Now, so I'm going to take this time to give you guys some chimpanzee facts as you just watch what the chimpanzees were doing and how they decided to entertain us. So let's go. So chimpanzee fact number 1 is chimpanzees actually don't grow fur. I think I found that quite entertaining, that they actually grow hair as opposed to fur. Like, it could be the same texture as human hair. I'm not sure about the curl pattern. They didn't try to give us that. So as they get older, they also grow like white beard hair around their chin. Their hairs tend to turn gray, and I think seeing animals in their natural habitat is very beautiful because you get to appreciate what they really are and what they like, as opposed to seeing animals in the zoo where they're quite tamed, if you might. Now this forest has a couple of troops. I believe there's so many. If I remember well, she said there are about 1,500 troops in this forest, and most chimpanzees live in troops of 5 to 10 or more. They never go beyond 20, but they do make nests where they sleep every day. Like, they make a different nest every day where they sleep, which is kind of fancy if you ask me. Like, a new house for every night. I'm down for that kind of lifestyle. So at this point, another chimpanzee came down and decided to help the alpha male, whose name I've forgotten. If I remember it, I will just insert the word right here. With his spade rather. They do groom themselves. They do not grow any hair on their palms, their face, like their cheeks and mouth area and ears, or their feet. Chimpanzees are also omnivorous. They do tend to feed on fruits mostly and to drink a little bit of water that is stored like within the tree trunks, but they do eat animals as well. They tend to also feed on their fellow chimpanzees, like outside troops and enemies. So chimpanzees can actually walk on their 2 feet like human beings. They tend to walk on their 4 limbs, but they can walk on their 2 feet if they want to. They're also believed to be like the closest relatives to humans when it comes to animals, because they share about 98% of their DNA, of their genetic DNA with humans, which actually meant that we could easily spread whatever diseases we had to the chimpanzees and vice versa. Now, being that we were in the middle of a global pandemic, they required us to wear our masks at all times. We also didn't get very close to them. I believe they say you were supposed to stay about 8 meters away from the animals, but given the prevailing circumstances, we had to stay a little bit further, about 10, but it was still pretty close because these animals are big and strong, if I may say. The average chimpanzee is actually almost like 4 times as strong as the average human. In the wild, they tend to live for 30 to 40 years, and they do live much more longer when they're in the zoo, because they definitely get medication and more attention, and maybe if you made a more balanced diet or a more informed diet. So guys, let me know down below which one of these facts you like the most. Let me also know if you like this kind of content. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Other than that, love and blessings. See you in the next one. Okay, this paid off.